Gloom. Roll back. Shalom. Salam alaikum. Namaste. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Aloha. Welcome. Just gonna talk a little bit about nothing in particular. Just this UCC-1 and where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Just share my journey, why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Research that I've been looking at myself, documents I've acquired, da-da-da-da. But right now I'm going to read from this, the Redemption Manual 4.5. Continue on. So earlier we was talking about the history, but we're going to get down to this right here. This time it ain't going to be the AI reading, it's going to be moi. Alright. Enlarge it a little bit. Let me see if I need to put on my spectacles. See if that's going to make a difference. Alright. Clean my lenses. Clean your optics. Clean your optics. Should have cleaned your optics. Alright. So, UCC-1. It's better to have done it and not needed it than to have not filed it and need it. Today, the majority of Americans pay taxes because when they get a job, their employer requests that they fill out either Internal Revenue Service Form W-2, Form W-4, or Form 1099, which, as a direct result, withholds taxes from their paychecks for their labor. The majority doesn't have a clue as to why they are paying these taxes in the first place, other than being conditioned to pay their so-called fair share, right? It has been affirmed that labor is a fundamental, unalienable, protected right, and this fundamental right is not supposed to be taxed. No profit of gain is to be realized via your labor. No profit of gain is to be realized via your labor. Right? Fundamental. You know, me, and for the sake of readers, do this with your words. Look up the etymology of the words. Alright, I got a lot of windows open right now. So what I'm going to do is open a new window. Here we'll go etymology. And over here we gonna do dictionary. Dictionary.com. All right. Fundamental. Look up the etymology of words. You got all this technology at your fingertips. Fundamental. All right. Fundamental is an adjective. It's from the mid 15th century. Quote, primary, original, pertaining to a foundation, end quote, modeled on late Latin, fundamentalis, quote, of the foundation, end quote, from Latin, fundamentum, quote, foundation, end quote. See fundament, and you can see fund and found as the primary, the fund, primary, original. We going, because all of it is going to tie in. Foundation, and why they set up foundations to do what? Hide funds. I don't know, but see fundament, and we will see fundament. But in music, 1732, it refers to the lowest note of a chord. Fundamentals, noun, quote, primary principles or rules, end quote, of anything is from 1630s. Let's check out fundament. And while that's loading, we're going to go to dictionary.com. Fundamental. Of course, we're going to break down fund. Everything going slow because I got a lot of windows open. This is why I like dictionary.com, because you can go
fundamental, fundamental,
serving as or being an essential part of a foundation or basis, basic, underlying. And on dictionary.com, you can also look up the definition of each word in the sentence or in the definition, right? As an adjective. As a noun, it's a basic principle, rule, law, or the like that serves as the groundwork of a system, essential part. Also called fundamental note, fundamental tone, music, the root of a chord, the generator of a series of harmonics. See, it's even in music, and that's what we'll be saying. That's how it all ties in, because everything ties in. That is the, magnificence of the Creator's creation. Fundament, late 13th century, quote, foundation, base, buttocks, anus, end quote, from Old French fondament, quote, foundation, bottom, land, estate, anus, end quote, 12th century. From Latin, fundamentum, quote, a foundation, groundwork, support, beginning, end quote. From fundare, quote, to found, end quote. See bottom. Now, So called because it is where one sits. Bottom. And bottom ties into fundamental. See bottom as the noun. Bottom, Old English, bottom, bodden, ground, soil, foundation, lowest or deepest part of anything. From Proto-Germanic, bottom. Source also of Old Frisian, boden, soil, quote unquote. Old Norse, boden. Dutch, bodem. Old High German, bodum. German, boden. Quote, ground, earth, soil, end quote. So this is the bottom. Started from the bottom now. Yeah, okay. This is perhaps Proto-Indo-European root budno, budno, quote, bottom. Source also of Sanskrit, Buddha, like when you saw the Buddha sitting on his Buddha. Avestin, Bunna, quote, bottom, end quote. Greek, Pithmin, quote, foundation, end quote. Latin, fundus, quote, bottom, piece of land, farm, end quote. This was also a fundus, piece of land, a farm. Old Irish, bond, quote, sole of the foot, end quote. That's what a bond is in Irish. Sole of the foot, bond. Bond, however they will pronounce it. Meaning, quote, fundamental character, essence, end quote, is from 1570s. To get to the bottom of some matter is from 1773. Meaning, quote, posterior of a person, end quote. The sitting part is from 1794. Bottoms up as a call to finish one's drink is from 1875. Bottom dollar, quote, the last dollar one has, end quote, is from 1857. 1857, the bottom dollar. Probably when they was dollar coins. To do or feel something from the bottom of one's heart is from 1540s. Bottom feeder, originally of fishes, is from 1866. So that's how it ties in with fundamental. Fundamental was the bottom, the basis, the basics. And since we here, what is fund? Fund, noun, 1670s, quote, a bottom, the bottom, foundation, groundwork, end quote. I'm gonna have to write this down because fund is also a verb, and there it is. But first we're gonna deal with the noun, a fund. What is a fund? A fund is a bottom, the bottom, foundation, groundwork. From French, fond. Like when you fond, that's a bottom. Floor, ground, that's fond. 12th century. Also, a merchant's basic stock or capital. Fund. From Latin, fundus, bottom, foundation, piece of land. From Proto-Indo-European root Bud, bottom, base, source also of Sanskrit, Budna, Greek, Pithman, foundation, bottom. We just read that. Meaning stock of money or wealth available for some purpose, is from 1690s. That started in the 1690s. And along the way, we probably gonna find out what happened in the 1690s. There's those numbers right there. Sense of, quote, store of anything to be drawn upon is from 1704. If that's the case, I got funds around me. A store of anything to be drawn upon is from 1704. That's after the stock of money or wealth available for some purpose came into existence. Then funds, money at one's disposable, was from 1728. So you see the succession, 1690s. 14 years later, another 14 years later, or 24 years later, boom, verb. See, fun as the verb came into existence in 1776, right? What's special about 1776? Anybody know? Fund, verb, convert a debt into capital or stock, represented by interest-bearing bonds. From fund, noun, meaning supply someone or something with money. To finance is from the 1900s. Pull up Google. And then pull up 1776. And while that's loading, hold on. Take a look at it. 1776. Let's check out what Wikipedia says about 1776. While that's loaded, we'll look at the synopsis. 1776 MDCCLLXXVI. You know what I mean? The Roman numerals for 1776, which was a leap year starting on Monday of the Gregorian calendar, and a leap year starting on Friday of the Julian calendar. Right? And guess what? This was a leap year also. And you had the double sevens, and now you got the double twos. 2020, 7-7. And it's really 777 because 1 and 6 is also 7. So that's 21. And this is 2020, which was a leap year. But let's see more of the article. The 1776th year of the Common Era in Anno Domini, which is the terms Anno Domini AD and before Christ BC are used to label or number years in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. The term Anno Domini is medieval Latin and means, quote, in the year of the Lord, end quote, but is often presented using, quote, our Lord, end quote, instead of the Lord, right? The year of the Lord, AD designations. The 776th year of the second millennium, the 76th year of the 18th century, and the 7th year of the 1770s decade. All right. January 1st, 1776, American Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War. The burning of Norfolk. Right up the street. The town of Norfolk, Virginia is destroyed by the combined actions of the British Royal Navy and occupying Patriot forces. Patriots were those colonists of the 13 colonies who rejected British rule during the American Revolution and declared the United States of America as an independent nation in July 1776. You know, like July 4th, Independence Day. Their decision was based on the political philosophy of republicanism. Republicanism. Remember that. Alright? That's, you know what I mean, what is interesting about 1776. Alright? Because this was going on. And why? Because they wanted to break away. We just was reading that whole story. You know what I mean? Not the whole story, but the records in relation to the formation of the United States Corporation. You know what I mean? Which was the Virginia Company. You know what I mean? This was sanctioned by the Crown. You know what I mean? This was their expedition and shit. You know what I mean? Over here into what they call the Americas. But as you see, they play word games. See how fund is so close to found, and you know, you got fundraisers for foundations, you know what I mean, to raise funds, and it's the bottom, you know what I mean, the foundation. So the foundation of this nation is funds. Yeah, this nation had to be funded. And that's what all this shit is tied up into. Bankruptcy, no funds. You know what I mean? No capital. They own all the funds, the piece of land. You know what I mean? And when I say they, you know what I mean, I'm talking about the central banks. You know what I mean? Private banks, the private banking institutions, who, you know what I mean, the corporations have made their, you know what I mean, or gotten their loans from and placed the people as collateral for. So let's get back to it. Fundamental. You know what unalienable is? Unalienable. Match the whole case. No results, huh? Alright, see. We'll do it like this. Alienable. Oh, see, this is what he's gonna do. In that case, can't be the first instance of it. That be that's the case. Let's see here. Inalienable. You have inalienable, not subject to alienation. The let me raise that up a little bit. Right? You have inalienable, not subject to alienation. The characteristic of those things which cannot be bought or sold or transferred from one person to another, such as rivers and public highways and certain personal rights, e.g., liberty. All right, that's one. That's inalienable. Just gonna keep on going through aliens. Alienation doctrine, did you know? And this is, I mean, the Black's Law Dictionary is an old dictionary. Where is it? I don't see it. Who the hell is knocking on my door? Where was we at? Alien. Take us back to the first. Where's the first instance? Abandonment. 2 is ab alienatio. In Roman law, that was the perfect conveyance or transfer of property from one Roman citizen to another. Ab alienation in the civil law, a making over of realty or chattels to another by due course of law. Es alienum, a civil law term signifying a debt, literally translated, the money of another. The civil law considered borrowed money as the property of another, as distinguished from cessum, one's own money. All right, there's alien. Now, a foreigner, one born abroad. Yeah, you didn't think this place was invaded by aliens. Foreigners, one's born abroad. A person. Got to be careful with that word person. Person is a fiction. Person who owes allegiance to a foreign government. You know, like a company that owes allegiance to a foreign company or a foreign government, like the companies who have currently, you know what I mean, business over here. But owe allegiance to the country of their origin. And this country is a person born out of the United States. And remember, the United States is a corporation and unnaturalized under our Constitution and laws, right? Because remember, the Black's Law Dictionary came out shortly after the Constitution and all that shit. In England, one born out of the allegiance of the king. Right there, the thought was going through my head. I was having a conversation in my mind with a being that was saying, get up off your ass and go to the law library to understand by action and doing what this means when you go look it up. Because trying to look it up on Google Scholar, you know what I mean, doesn't really give you what you're looking for. But alien, right? In this country is a person born out of the United States and unnaturalized under our Constitution and laws. That's 2 Kent Commentary 50 Caparel versus Goodbody 132 New Jersey. Something, the recorder is the recorder. Page 559, 29, A2D 563 and 569. In England, one born out of the allegiance of the king, a native-born Filipino living in the United States but not admitted to United States citizenship was an alien. Alright? But the term for immigration purposes would not apply to a Filipino seeking to enter the territory of Hawaii or to a Filipino lawfully admitted to Hawaii who seeks entry therefrom into the United States, nor to citizens of the Philippine Islands of the Filipino race. Decano versus state. And it's funny because I am currently surrounded by Kanos. But, you know, that's how the shit plays out. And, you know what I mean, the Kanos got robbed. It was some bullshit. It's really some bullshit when I'm sitting here, you know what I mean, looking at it in my mind, in the mental image. But as to the effect of marriage on the status of women, whether they were originally aliens or citizens of the United States, see that record, right? Then you got alien or alien, verb, to transfer or make over to another, to convey or transfer the property of a thing from one person to another. To alienate, usually applied to the transfer of lands and tenements. Alien or alien, right? You have an alien enemy. This is in international law. An alien who is the subject or citizen of some hostile state or power. A person who, by reason of owing a permanent or temporary allegiance to a hostile power, becomes, in time of war, impressed with the character of an enemy. Right? And that's all the aliens. Then you have alienable, proper to be the subject of alienation or transfer. That's alienable. Like alienable rights would be proper to the subject of alienation or transfer. Right? So, inalienable, you know what I mean, would be exactly that. Not, you know what I mean, proper to be the subject of alienation or transfer. You cannot transfer these, you know what I mean, rights given by, you know what I mean, the Most High. Period. So it has been affirmed that labor is a fundamental, unalienable, protected right, and this fundamental right is not supposed to be taxed. No profit of gain is to be realized via your labor. It is presumed that everyone is expected to know the law. It has been long held that ignorance of the law is not an excuse or a defense. There is a well-established maxim that states, "He who fails to assert his rights has none," which unequivocally establishes that just as a closed mouth never gets fed, a matter must be expressed to be resolved. Yeah, so can't be no what do we call it? Can't be passive aggressive or any of that. It has to be. I mean, the matter has to be dealt with. It has to be expressed to be resolved. Say what you mean what you say, say how you feel, all that good stuff. But in terms of this, you know what I mean, it is declaring your independence, you know what I mean, from this business that is, I mean, drafted us into it and put our bodies and our energy up for a bankruptcy. Their company's bankruptcy. And yeah, we agreed through ignorance, but again, ignorance of the law is not an excuse or a defense. Because why? The knowledge is right here at our fingertips. You know what I mean? The Bible, Book of Luke, 11th chapter, 52nd verse states, "Woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering ye hindered." Right? When it comes to dealing with lawyers, government, and the Internal Revenue Service, which is not an agency of the United States government, but a private foreign-owned corporation, withholding and keeping knowledge from the people is nothing new, right? It's always classified something secret, top secret, need to know. Well, this is what we need to know. It is a common business tactic that has been going on from the beginning of its inception. Told you. It's corporate wars. You know what I mean? Born identity and all that shit. Throw it out in codes. So, It will most likely continue as long as we rely upon lawyers and government to do that which we ourselves should be doing. Right? Have to handle our own business. The Bible unquestionably verifies this with the following. Book of Isaiah, 5th chapter, 13th verse tells us, "Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge." Right? Let's check that out real quick. We're gonna go to one of my other favorite sites. Oh no, hold on. Oh yeah, I guess I couldn't do that from here, right? Bible Hub. We want Isaiah. Isaiah 5th chapter, 13th verse. Right? Therefore, legging have gone into captivity. Gullah, like the Gullah demons. Gullah. My people. Amel. Ami. My people. Ami. Because they have no knowledge. Dad. And they're honorable. Miti. Dalet Ein Zad Dalet Ein Da Da'at Da'at from Yada, hand. Right? Know, knowledge, premeditation, skill, truth. Right? That's what they lacked. Concern, knowledge, premeditation, skill, truth. See? Genesis 2:9, and the tree of the knowledge, that of good, that shel tob, or tawub, I don't know, but that's Isaiah 5:13, right? The people were going into captivity because they had no da'at. In the book of Hosea, 4th chapter, 6th verse, my people are destroyed for a lack of da'at, knowledge. Premeditation, can't see stuff coming. Not paying attention, not concerned. No knowledge. In order to find the answer as to why your labor is being taxed when the Constitution, you know what I mean, and you already know about the Constitution since, you know what I mean, you've been drafted in it, you know what I mean, make the most of it. It is in order to find the answer as to why your labor is being taxed when the Constitution says it is not supposed to be, it is necessary to understand how government exists and operates. To accomplish this requires a quick review back in history to the time of the war between the states. The people of this nation lost their true republican form of government. What is a republic and republican form of government? Let's look it up. Republic, like Star Wars, right? Yeah, that's the whole case. That's it. Best to just scroll on down. Because they always talk about into the republic for which it stands. You all know the Pledge of Allegiance, verbal contracts and shit. Got to be more careful. All right. residue. Res, like a resident, like you have the idea of a thing, resident, res, ident. You know what I mean? Identity of an object, resident, resident. Yeah, that's evil. Resident Evil. Republic. Republic. Right? Alright. There it is. Don't know why the search didn't want to pick it up, but here we go. Republic is a commonwealth, that form of government in which the administration of affairs is open to all the citizens. In another sense, it signifies the state independently of its form of government. Republic. A republican government, which is, you know what I mean, what the Pledge of Allegiance says this thing is a government in the republican form. A government of the people. A government by representatives chosen by the people. Right? Do you think you're choosing these people that's, well, you choose representatives, because that's what, on a state level, right? Your state representatives. But that federal shit, right, that's something different. But a republic, right? And it's broken up into two words. You already saw where res was. Let's go all the way to the beginning of the RE. Re, Latin. In the matter of. In the case of. A term of frequent use in designating judicial proceedings in which there is only one party. Thus, re Vivian signifies in the matter of Vivian, or in Vivian's case. So, republic, right, is in the matter of the public. Re-5 law, the abbreviation of Recordari Facius Loquelum. Reverber scripto consensu tradition junctura vestis sumere pacta solent. Compacts usually take their clothing from the thing itself, from words, from writing, from consent, from delivery. Compacts or contracts usually take their clothing from the thing itself, from words, from writing, from consent, from delivery. But re is what I wanted to cue you into. So this is a republic. So there was a war between the states. And the people of this nation lost their true republican form of government. On March 27th, 1861, 7 southern states walked out of Congress, leaving the entire legislative branch of government without quorum. Right? What is quorum? Quorum. Oh. I'm supposed to jump all the way right there. Alright. See, that's why these studies, man, they take time, because you start looking at one thing, but you know you have to fill in all the blank spots. You got to fill in all the blank spots. So, let's go back there to the cues. Quorum. Quality, quando, quantum, quarter dollar, quasi, queen, querl, questa, questus, qui, quitum, quickie, quidsit, quirtin, quistos, quado, quad. In the quad, there it is, the word streaking across the quad. Quorum. A quorum. They needed a quorum. Without, they didn't have a quorum, a majority of the entire body, a quorum of a state Supreme Court. Such a number of the members of a body as is competent to transact business in the absence of the other members. The idea of a quorum is that when that required number of persons goes into a session as a body, such as directors of a corporation, the votes of a majority thereof are sufficient for binding action. Right? When a committee, board of directors, meeting of shareholders, legislature, or other body of persons cannot act unless a certain number of at least of them are present. That number is called a quorum. In the absence of any law or rule fixing the quorum, it consists of a majority of those entitled to act. Right? So, what happened? No quorum. The Congress of Constitution, the Congress of the Constitution was dissolved for inability to disband or reconvene. The Republican form of government which the people were guaranteed ceased to exist. Right? Out of a necessity to operate the government, President Lincoln, you all heard the name before, issued Executive Order number 2. And just think about what number the executive orders are on now. This was Executive Order number 2 in April 1861, reconvening the Congress at gunpoint in executive emergency martial law rule jurisdiction. Let's go look that up. But I gotta close it right now. You know what I mean? I'm running into where I'm at right now. 1:08. All this to say, UCC-1, you know what I mean? I'm going to complete the process, you know what I mean? And then subsequently, not even going to say, see how we'll see what we're going to see. But quorum, and then you see what had to be done, right? And since that time, there has been no de jure sanctioned by law. That's de jure. Congress. There has been no de jure Congress. Everything functions under color of law, which is the appearance or semblance without substance of legal right. That's in Black's law. Through executive orders under authority of the war powers, i.e. emergency, i.e. law of necessity. The law of necessity means no law whatsoever, as per such maxims of law as necessity knows no law. The law forbidding killing is voided when done in self-defense. In time of war, laws are silent. Cicero. Alright? I'm going to leave it right there. And we'll come back, you know what I mean, maybe to this section in another. We'll do part 2. How about that? I'll just pick it up at part 2. Alright? So until then, love, light, peace.